Alright, I wanted to post a small update. Let me do something real quick here. Clean that off. Alternator's on. It's kind of going to be tight, but the fitting, I've got a short radius billet 90 that's going to clear. Dash 16, we've already checked, it'll clear. This bracket is made by RevMax Street Rods. Small company, makes really nice brackets. It was $76, but this thing is 3/8 of an inch thick. Everything's beveled on the edges, comes with all the hardware, and they think enough to give you 3/8 and 7/16 bolts for the big block, because as you know, OEM heads have a 7/16 bolt hole in them as well as 3/8. We got both the spout puller fans on. That's just kind of a tentative thing for right now. That's actually a spark plug wire loom bracket, Moroso bracket, and I just got the ground put in there for right now. That's not going to stay that way. I used a little Dynamat stuff to seal the gap up here. This bracket also is temporary. I'm going to make one up out of some aluminum for it. Move the catch can. Everything else is done up here. We're going to start getting the exhaust done. I'm going to get some 3-inch stainless. Put the little muffler right here, little bullet muffler, like about 6 inches long. Turning out the fender. But that was my main worry, was the Allen Grove bracket was in the way up here. It would have been like right up against the exhaust. I would have been too close. And thank God I had the one from that side. You just impose it and flip it and it'll work on this side. This bracket here, you can also this way, or you can flip it around and it'll move the alternator up a little bit more if you need to. But everything's going to clear. We'll get the water pump mounted over here somewhere on the fender, feed it back out of it, go under the alternator and over to there. And why things are so much tighter now, as you can see, is because I don't have the radiator. I didn't cut my core support up and set it way back in there. I wasn't going to do that this time. I did just enough room to give me what I needed. I really didn't know what water pump I was going to use, but we're using a Mazira remote water pump, so that gets some stuff out of the way. Dash 16 inlets up here going into the engine, come out of here, of course, into that radiator, then back into the cold side of the main radiator up here. I've got all the fittings now. I got the hose. I've got to start throwing fittings together. Fuel pumps are mounted. I just got to run the wire back, get it hooked up, get the lines run, get the studs, brakes, and all that put on the rear end, get the back wheels on it, which I'm going to measure for. I want to put a 10-inch wide wheel back here. So I got to measure and see how much back space I can get away with, because the 8/8 is about 3/4 of an inch. Some people say an inch, but it's closer to 3/4 of an inch wider on either side. So like an 8 with a 4.5, you could do like an 8 with a 5.5. But I want to run a 10, and I'm going to see if I can get away with 7, maybe 7.5 inches of back spacing. If not, because I do not want them sticking out past the bed. But we're getting close. I got plug wires to get put on it. The right plugs are in it now. I just got to tighten them down. I already anti-seized them, put them in. I just got to snug them. Get this stuff buttoned up over here and done. There's the plug for the O2 sensor, which I got to put in the exhaust. This is where I'm going to run this temperature gauge in this block right here, so I can see what the temperature is on the little radiator as it's coming out and going in. Just kind of something I want to do. Get the lines run for here. I don't have a fill port, and nobody commented on that. There's no fill hole in these valve covers. That's another foobar on my part, like the piston thing, but this one here is one of them things. Got in a hurry, bolted them on, got the headers on, which you have to take the headers off to get to the 3 back valve cover bolts on either side on the bottom. So I'm gonna, when I filled it the first time, I filled it through the distributor hole. So, and I've already run it. It's got new oil in it. And right now it actually has Royal Purple 1030 break-in oil in it, and a can of a bottle of ZDDP additive plus. But I'm going to not do it this way because that's already in sync, locked down. I'm going to try to fill it through these two -10 fittings. If it turns out it's real slow going, then I'm going to have to pull probably the other valve cover off, hole saw a hole in it, and put something in it to fill it up. My grandson's running in and out as I'm doing this. But we're getting closer. The fans are done. They're bolted here. I just got a stud down there that sticks up with a piece of fuel line and a rubber vacuum plug cap over it that they rest up against. It's bolted in the middle to a piece of angle that's down there. These fans are 11 inches and these things scream air. I'm not joking. You have a 3-inch radiator. There's about 2 inches in between these two. This is another 2 inches of radiator here, and I can stick 2 license plates right here, metal license plates, and it will suck them against this radiator and hold them. They're rated at 3200 CFM between the two fans. They're like 1720 or something a piece. So you're thinking 32, 3300, but anybody that's ever used spout fans knows that they're one of the best fans you can buy, if not the best. These are made in Italy, it says it on them. But the fact you can rebuild the motors, you can buy parts for them, and they always move much more air than what spout says. They're very, very forgiving on their CFM ratings. So, but yeah, they move. You can stay. It'll blow. This air cleaner's not bolted down, and when I turn them on, it will literally blow the air cleaner off the throttle body. So they move a ton of air. And if I had the battery hooked up in it, which I've got it out right now, because the battery I had in it to test is just a regular car battery. I've got Optima batteries that's going in it. I'd turn them on and show you, maybe in a later video I'll show you, but they're a little loud because they're actually a paddle blade fan, but I can put up with a little noise. I don't see why with this setup I have more cooling capacity than I had with that big radiator by square inch of tube space, so it should cool fine. Although we are making a lot more power here. That engine that I had in here before, the lighter engine at the end of the videos, was just a 60/402 with about a 12-to-1 motor, 12.5-to-1. I run it on VP 110. It was stout, but it never got over 180 degrees, and I don't care what the weather was out. And most of the time, I just run one of those 14-inch fans I had on there. If I hammered on it a lot, then I'd kick them both on a high temperature day, like 90 or above out. But most of the time, I just run one fan. And it was just a curved blade puller, and actually it has less CFM than these did. And these are 11-inch. So I'm going to end it at that. It's just a little short update real quick for everybody. But as you can see, it's a lot tighter in here this time than it was last time. But last time, I cut the core support completely in half, and I set the radiator clear out at the edge of the frame up against the grill. So you're talking another 4 or 5 inches that I didn't use up this time. I wanted to keep the core support in one piece other than cutting out for access to the cap. The radiator is actually setting back and lean forward at the top a little bit, so because I didn't want to cut clear back into here, just enough to get my cap off and on, and then of course that cap right there. So it's getting a 6-inch pin-on hood going on it. So that being said, as I get more, I'll show it. Fuel injection's all hooked and wired. I had one wire that I forgot to actually trigger the ignition box. I got it hooked up. It was kind of iffy in the instructions. And then on the throttle body, there's like screws you got to put in here to plug stuff or take out here, and you got to go through all that. And I had to redo all that for being no boost going through it, rather than just nitrous. So we took it off, fixed all that. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that bracket. I mean, that thing is super nice, all grade 8 stainless hardware. They got some kind of black coating on them, but it says stainless. All of it's 6061 billet, and it was, like I said, $76 delivered. I ordered on a Friday, I had it Monday. Guy is awesome. And if you look up their site, like I said, it's what is it here? RevMax Street Rods. RevMax Street Rods on eBay. They have a website too if you look them up, but you have to go through there to buy anything. But yeah, And I was saying 3/8 of an inch thick. I'm looking at a 3/8 header flange right here. Sorry about that. 3/8 header flange. Yeah, that's every bit of 3/8. It's beveled on the edges. It's all smooth. It's nice. Billet spacers. Nice setup. So, with that, I'm going to end it. I got to go chase the grandson down and finish putting the gates up across my driveway so my dogs will stay in the backyard. And maybe come out and do some more work later this evening or something. I work on it at night after the wife gets home. Everybody goes to bed. I come out here for a couple hours, work on it. Then I got to get up in the morning with the grandson. So we're getting there slowly but surely. Thank you, everybody, for all the subs. Everybody stay safe. God bless. Put the videos up. Share what you're doing. It keeps all of us that can't get out and do things, and those of us are being stressed out working out in this nasty stuff and putting up with this complete mess that's going on. It keeps us sane. So thank you, everyone. Again, stay safe. God bless. Later.